Hey, beautiful souls, it's me, Shamamahuntingowl, and I am here today to just share some synchronicities from yesterday's video through the comments that came up. And also, the main reason I am here is to talk about being single, celibate, and selective on our journeys. And now this part of the message is that we're going to talk about, the topic is really going to impact those of you, now gender doesn't matter, that hold the divine feminine energy on the journey. So it doesn't mean, you know, it could be a dude who relates to this. It could be a female who relates to this. It really specifically is attached to the energy you entered this journey in. So first of all, let me thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support, your comments, all of the good stuff from yesterday. I love you guys so much, and you know that. And I enjoy, even though I don't love doing videos and putting myself out there, I really do enjoy connecting with you guys on that soul level. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's get started just with a little recap from yesterday's video. A few things came through after the video, and they were coming through with the comments and things like that. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was, I discussed my angel here, and the timelines that we are dealing with. So 2017 kept coming through, and oddly enough, the angel that I had given away, which was to my beloved, was in 2017. And then some comments came up about other people's experiences. Now, I don't even believe that in the video yesterday I discussed 2017, because I don't think it was actually fully in my conscious awareness at that point. But then some comments came up, and people commented on things that related to 2017 specifically. And I was like, oh my God, duh, right? So what I want to say is, I feel like 2017 is we are going back 7 years. We are 7 years back, clearing those timelines, closing them out, finishing them out, healed from them, moving forward now into whatever healing has to happen now between then and now. And for many of us, because we had become by that point most of us, some of us, had become pretty awake, aware, conscious of our internal wounds, things like that, we were making better choices. We were making better decisions. We were moving forward through our life, approaching life and our experiences from a different place than we did prior to that. And so I want to say that I feel what comes through is that we weren't accumulating as much karma after 2017. And so we've closed out that cycle, and from that point forward, many of us have been in a much more self-aware, higher conscious state. And so we haven't been making, since 2017, the same choices, decisions from a wounded space as we did prior to that. So that is a beautiful, 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 like, recognition. And I wanted to bring that to your attention, because I want those of you who haven't started having this experience yet to start going back to who you were, how you were, your actions, your behaviors, the wounds you were still, I want to say emanating, working, living out in your daily experience. And so how does this all relate to what I want to talk about today? Okay, let's see, where do we want to start? Because this is a huge kind of subject, and I don't want to necessarily be on here for like an hour. So let me see, where do we start? All right, so again, I always teach from my experience and the experiences I see from my clients. So let's start with that. For me, since 2017, that was in 2017 was the last time that I had sex, and it was with my twin. I have not had sexual intercourse with anybody since then. As a matter of fact, I've only dated one person since then, and that was in late 2019, early 2020. And that was like 4 or 5 dates. I did not have sex with this person. Did I fool around with this person? Sure, a little bit, but it wasn't I did not have sex with this person. And the reasons for that were because I was in the place of being much more selective as to who I shared my energy, my time, my body with. I had come to a place of understanding the journey, my own wounds of why I would do the things I would do sexually. And I was very aware that unless somebody met my vibration or saw and understood and could see me for those things, there was no way in hell, no matter how lonely, no matter how horny I might have been, that I was even willing to go there with anybody. And so, so I know, and so I'm going to say is when this one other person, when I did date this other person, it was just for a short time. And that is because as I got to know him better, I realized that our values didn't align. And I recognized the test in that almost immediately. I recognized that he was very much like many of the men I had been with in the past. He wanted open relationships. He was not into commitment. He had cheated on his spouses and other people that he had been with. And I found this out through, the 4 or 5 times that we had spent together, getting to know each other. And I knew that was old Christine. That was old me. And if I was to succumb to my darker side, my weaknesses, my insecurities, my fear of setting boundaries with myself, with my body, with another person, that I was just going to repeat a loop again that I was not willing to repeat. Like I said, this dude was cute. He was like so attractive. He was very like my type, my old type, shall we say. And as soon as I understood where he was coming from and his perspective on sexuality and intimacy and relationships, that ended. Like I said, it was 4 or 5 dates and that was it. I don't even know if it was even that many. But the point is that I chose my higher path. I chose to look at, am I with this guy? Do I want to date him just because he's cute and it's a physical thing? Am I acting out of my wounds because I don't want to be alone, because I miss physical touch, because I miss being held? But am I willing to compromise myself, my values, my principles, just for a half-assed encounter that is going to satisfy maybe the vessel, the physical, but yet not really truly fill and enrich my cup? And so that all ended. And so I want to take this back again to the beginning of my journey with my twin, where everything was really, first of all, I shouldn't even start with everything was good, because he was married. And some of you know that my ex-husband had cheated on me. And so that was something that I was never going to be the other woman. But yet, when I met my twin and he was married and he told me he was in this bad relationship and like he was unhappy and blah, 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 and he was wanting to leave and all of that stuff, even then I fooled around a little bit here and there, you know, a little making out, a little dry humping kind of thing, but I never had sex with him. It wasn't until I finally said, out of a wounded, broken part of myself, because I really, truly loved him, and I was having all of this shame and guilt about being the other woman, but yet at the same time, there was this entitlement because of this connection that felt so fucking deep and strong and powerful that I think it was maybe like 8 months later, after we had started kind of like 6-8 months later, after we had started kind of seeing each other, that I decided that I needed to prove to him how much he meant to me. And I had sex with him. And that was the point where the separation, just everything fell the fuck apart in a big, big way. And it came from that wounded space. It came from, I need to prove my value to him. I needed to prove something. And it wasn't from this pure place. Yes, there was love. Yes, it was beautiful. Yes, there was healing through our encounters that we had after that. But I was always left feeling bad about myself. And then me feeling bad about myself and what I just did and the reasons I just did it would then reflect onto him, and he would feel bad. And we had several conversations after the fact, after we would have sex and be together. And he would even say, like, we can't do this anymore because it doesn't feel good. The act itself feels great, but afterwards, there's too much guilt, shame, just internal conflict into what had happened. And so that led to lots of separation time between us, being the last time that we were actually together in 2017. And then in 2018 is when I walked away. Broke contact, I broke contact, walked away. It was super painful. It sucked. I hated every minute of it. But I also knew I wasn't doing myself any good. Continuing to come back to this relationship at that point, although in the moments we shared together were fucking phenomenal, the afterward, the after effect of that was devastating to me. It shattered me every time. And so like I said, so after that, I didn't date anybody for, you know, till 2019, 2020, the end of that year. And I knew when that lesson came in, it was a lesson. Within a few short dates, I knew this was not for me, and I had to continue honoring my path that I had chosen to take in healing myself and not using my sexuality as a weapon, as a manipulation. I was free of my dark feminine energy at that point, and still am today, because I was able to set boundaries. I was able to stick to my boundaries. I was able to recognize the wounds that were coming up and the pain and the physical and the spiritual needs that I had that weren't going to be fulfilled if I continued to pursue that relationship. So where does all of this come to is that many of us, many of the divine feminine, again, energy person, have been alone, chosen celibacy, had been very selective. Now, I am not dissing anybody who is still seeking and swiping, okay? Your journey is your journey. Your path is your path. You know the reasons you do what you do, and there's no judgment there at all. Everybody's path is different, and I honor that every step of the way. However, what I am going to say is that the divine feminine now, and for the last, I would say since 2017 potentially, those of us who have awakened, understood, seen our wounds, worked on these things, have learned to respect our bodies, have understand the sacredness of the energy that we carry, and the power that our sexuality brings to the table, have really chosen this path of being alone. Now, do we like it necessarily that we have been single and in this bubble, literally in a bubble, where any male that comes even close to us attempts to start a dating relationship, approaches us in any way, shape, or form, literally gets ejected from our energetic field? No, we don't necessarily like it. It's not fun being alone. None of us really enjoy the fact that we are alone. However, we do relish and hold on to and cherish the fact that we are no longer settling, that we have become selective and truthful and honoring our bodies and our emotions and what we have to offer and bring to the table. And if somebody doesn't see that and recognize that from a pure place, they're literally ejected from our whole experience. And it's really, you know, I call it being cock blocked. And sometimes I feel like it's almost like it is our divine masculine counterpart coming in and going, oh, nope, no, thank you. You don't need that. Get the fuck out of her. Get away from her. Like, ain't gonna happen, buddy. Sorry. But ultimately, I know that it is because my vibration, because I can be at a place where I am not going to settle. I know I am good enough now. Where in the past, when I felt like I had to prove something to my twin or any other man that I am valuable and worthy because of my sexuality, that is no longer a thing. And so we have come to this place of understanding this. Now, and this is in the 3D realm, like in our physical consciousness now, we see these things. We can look back at our past experiences, our wounds, you know, our sexual abuse, our whatever, our not being good enough, our unworthiness, all of that, and go, I see it now. I see where my actions were needing to control, needing to feel wanted, needing to feel desired, needing to feel valued. And yet all of those experiences never led us to that feeling. They always fell short for whatever reason, because they were supposed to, because they were lessons that we had to learn, right? But now we are in this energy, and we have been for a while. Many of us have been processing it and working through it and moving through it and, you know, having our experiences here and there and whatever. But are you getting the lesson? Are you learning the lesson in the physical world of the people coming into your world? Are you discerning? Are you using your highest discernment when you are screening, getting to know these people that are coming into your world who may want a relationship with you or a one-night stand or whatever. Where are you yourself coming from? Is it a place of loneliness? Is it a place of missing intimacy and physical touch and all of the, I'm going to say the sins of the flesh, even though I don't necessarily like want to like be biblical in that. That's what just keeps coming through is like, are you trying to satisfy the sins of the flesh, or are you honoring the flesh in relation to who you truly are, your divinity, and all the beauty and love that is you, uniquely you? So I just want to give you that as just something to process as you look through where you've been on this path. and how you are out there, you know, experiencing life and relationships. Now, the divine feminine energy. Now we're going to go more spiritual, okay? A little more 5D and higher energy and understanding. So Mary Magdalene has been coming into my consciousness a lot lately. All the Marys, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene have been very, very present for over the last 2 weeks, week, whatever it's been. And Magdalene was, you know, she was portrayed as a prostitute in the Bible, which we all know is not true. Magdalene was an initiate of sacred sexuality. And as an initiate, which many of the divine feminine are on this twin flame journey, it is our, and I'm going to use the word responsibility, it is our mission, it is our responsibility to help heal the wounds, the sexual wounds, the abuse, all of the things that have been not just for ourselves, the things we've done to ourselves, but the things that have been done to us, and generations and historical sexual trauma that has been portrayed throughout time. I mean, from the burning of the witches to all of it, like all of that trauma, sexually, the rapes. I mean, like I'm seeing like all of this, like the conquest, or the conquest they're saying, the crusades, the conquests, the sexual, you know, the raping, the this, the that, like, ugh, I don't even want to like, ugh, I don't even want to think about it, because it's just so, it's a lot. But it is our job as the initiates to clear this. Again, and it's multi-level. So it's something that's not going to happen like that, like just because you're aware of it, because there's the awareness, and then there's the acceptance, and then there's the transmutation of it. And we're talking generations, I mean, thousands of years of this kind of shit that we have taken on as our role in helping heal the timelines, helping heal humanity, helping change the way forward for how the feminine has, and the feminine vessel has been compromised by, you want to call it dark forces, you want to call it misogyny, patriarchy, religious fucking indoctrination, whatever you want to call it. I mean, all the way back to Adam and Eve. Eve was the one who was the bad one. She's the one that tempted Adam. Oh my God, right? It's bullshit. Okay, and please, I've been doing a shit ton of Bible study on all different religions since back when I did my fast and my thing back on whenever the hell that was, Ash Wednesday. I've been delving deep into all of these biblical different religions and all of this stuff, and seeing all of these holes, and it's just making more questions and more questions come up. But that's a topic for another time. Anyway, my point is spiritually, energetically, many of the feminine who are considered to be an initiate, who are finding themselves in these experiences where no person of the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever, you know, heterosexual, homosexual, non-binary, whatever you want to call yourself, like, it's all good. Whatever your sexual orientation is, those people are not even coming in your field. And if they do, like I said, they are being ejected, they are being bounced right out. And so we are walking this single path by choice, not because we love it, but because we value who we are, what we are, and the work that we have done. So energetically, the lower chakras are what we are working on, mostly the root and sacral chakra. The solar plexus too, because part of setting boundaries is establishing them. And those boundaries are established in our solar plex chakra. So let's say the bottom three, okay? Obviously, the sacral chakra, our area of sexuality, our area of creation, of giving birth to all life, our womb space. Now let's think about this energetically. There was this old fucking commercial for a shampoo commercial or something, and it was like, okay, let's go back, where I told someone and they told a friend, and then they told two friends and they told two friends, and blah, 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 right? So you start seeing all of this like multiplication. So I take that into our sexual bodies, our physical bodies, as first we have to clear our own traumas, our own karmic wounds that we have accumulated consciously. Well, consciously being consciously unconsciously, like we didn't know at the time that's what we were doing. We now look back and say, oh fuck, that's what we were doing. But we chose those paths. So first we have to clear those out. So think about it. Everyone you've slept with, and the people they've slept with, and the people they've slept with, all of that imprints into the feminine womb space. We carry all of those codes, all of that energy within us. We continually need to clear our sacral chakra. Well, this time, since that 2027 till present time window, or whatever it has been for you, it may not be that long for you. It all depends on where and how long you've been on your journey to, is what part of this process has been. It has been clearing out everyone and everything that we have allowed ourselves engaged in willingly, number one, then number two. And so you think about how many people that could possibly be. That's a fucking lot of people, right? That's a lot of energy that you've taken into your sacred space, okay? Then we have to clear out the traumas, any sexual abuse that we have experienced by no fault of our own, so to speak, that we have been, and again, I know like we have soul contracts, blah, 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 nothing happens to us, it happens for us, but talking about people who have truly been, you know, young children sexually abused, that kind of stuff, that they didn't consciously, willingly go into having sex with somebody. We have to clear that. So now we have to clear all that trauma. Then we start clearing our ancestral, our familial, our parents, our grandparents, all of that trauma. Then we start having to clear for the bigger collective, the historic stuff that we have been subjected to on a long, many timelines, many years. So this is why it's taking so long. And then we talk about the root chakra, and the root chakra is all about being safe, secure, protected, having our basic needs met, food, shelter, you know, and sex is part of that. You know, part of our basic human functions and needs is to have sex, procreate, reproduce, like that's all part of it. So we are also clearing that. So this is why this timeline is being called back to our awareness at this point. This is why so many of us are alone, and why we are choosing this path of not allowing anyone into our sexual energy unless it's right, let alone that the universe is not allowing it to happen, because our vibration is way beyond, is so much higher than experiencing those low sexual vibrations and sharing ourselves with other people like that. We have the divine feminine is the initiate, is the one who takes hold of clearing the sexual traumas and the sexual extortions that have happened. Now, why doesn't the masculine go through this? Because I know, like, the feminine, this is a huge thing for the feminine to take on. But I can hear people saying, but my masculine's out there still having sex and is still with a karmic this one and da-da-da and hooking up and swiping and da-da-da. Well, first of all, the divine feminine is also, let me just add, not seeking. The divine feminine now knows, those of us who are consciously aware, knows that they are the magnet. They are not out there hunting, seeking, searching, swiping. The divine feminine in her truest form is just allowing, is just themselves, radiating their energy and allowing that to magnetize the right person to them. So the selectivity is, we will know whether it's your twin, whether it's a higher vibrational soulmate, or whether it's a lesson. We will know, we can see it. We have discernment to be able to understand what that looks like now. And so, and I'm not judging anyone who is seeking, searching, swiping. It's like, it's okay, because maybe there are more lessons that need to be learned. Maybe they are the masculine in the energy of all of this, and they are doing their part as the hunter, that's the masculine's role. They lead, they hunt, they provide, right? But so going back, so why is the feminine, why is the masculine not experiencing this? Well, they are still learning lessons. They have not understood the separation between the physical carnal, the lustful urges, and the higher cherishing sacred union, sacred sexuality thing. These are their lessons to learn. And this is why they're still out there doing that, because until they can put those lustful desires to the back burner or get rid of it completely and understand this from a different level, it's the feminine's job to hold that container. Now, for many of us, this can be super painful for many of the feminine, not just in the physical, that we know that our divine counterpart or our person is still out there doing these things. Many of us feel it. And I don't know if the masculine is aware of that we know when they're out having sex with other people, that we energetically, many of us, not all of us, many of us feel it. We feel it in our bodies. We hear it in our thoughts, in our consciousness. Like, we hear things, we know things, we feel things. And so it not only is painful because physically our bodies go through that experience, but internally we are going through that experience. And so it sucks and it's not fun, but it's our job, because what we are doing at that time is we are transmuting that energy too. We are helping heal them through us being able to transcend all of that pain, understanding it and seeing it from a higher perspective, from a healed mind space, a healed heart space, knowing that it's not about us. Just because they choose someone else to be with at this time or at any point in time, it's not a reflection of us. We know they are running from themselves. They are running from themselves. They are not running from us. Okay? So ascension-wise, many of you may be experiencing a lot of gastrointestinal, stomach, reproductive pains. Your periods may be worse if you still have periods. Even if you don't have periods and you're in menopause, you may be experiencing period-like symptoms, monthly. You may be having like false cramping and tenderness in your breasts and things like that. Again, stomach issues, clearing out like all of this sludge, because that's what it looks like in our womb space, in our digestive system, in our elimination process. It's sludge. It's this nasty leftover sludge of accumulation over years and years of just accepting less than we deserve, less than we deserved. And so we honor ourselves in this. So when does this end? Some of you may have soulmates coming in, high vibrational soulmates. And if that feels good and they are there for a purpose. So I want to tell you to embrace those relationships. It's not dishonoring if it's coming from the right place. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, though. I don't ever say that. What the fuck is that? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Make sure it's the right reasons. Or is it another lesson coming into your experience? Those of us who I believe have really learned the lessons, who have set the boundaries, who have done that level of work, and I'm not saying it's over, like you don't get to it and then it's done necessarily. There's always going to be temptations. There's always going to be, you know, tests that pop up along your path, but always check yourself. Where am I coming from? What are my intentions here? Am I just really fucking lonely? You know, am I sad in my own misery because I miss being touched? I miss being kissed. I miss being held. And is it worth, you know, balance those scales? Is it worth what you're sacrificing just to have a partial experience that you know may not fill you completely, that may be coming from a lower vibration? Let's see. What else? So I covered that we're clearing for the historic, the initiates, the Mary Magdalene energy, the sacred sexuality. Oh, so refinement and purification. So about a month ago, I posted something that I kept having this vision of gold being liquefied and purified and separated into something new. And this is part of that. What we are doing is truly being purified. Every cell, every fiber, every tissue, every organ in our body is being purified from all of this sexual wounds, all of this low self-esteem, this needing to prove your value, needing to find worth, settling for anything less than we truly deserve, and for our traumas. So I kept seeing this, and as this healing is happening in our lower chakras, it is allowing the ice around our hearts to melt. The heat, and I mean heat, you guys, like, I mean, there are nights where I and it's not night sweats or anything like that, like traditional bullshit, soaking wet, bursts of heat that just come through my body. And it's transmuting. I can feel it burning away all of that within myself. And I know others. So I also want to say I'm not the only one going through this. Okay. I do talk to my friends. I do talk to my clients. There are lots of other people going through this. There's also one other little caveat I want to add here is be careful. And this is just a warning, an awareness warning, not a like toxic warning. It is toxic, but it's not like that. It's an awareness. Be aware of spiritual, and I'm going to use the word fuck boys and fuck girls. There are people who may come into your field who seem like they're spiritual. They know their shit. They know what they're doing. They may want to connect with your energy. These people, be very cautious with, okay? Because just because they're spiritual and just because they do plant medicine and just because they do this or that or whatever, doesn't mean they've healed those wounds. And yes, it could very well be that you're meant to heal those wounds together, but 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell you that that's not the case. It's a temptation. It's an energy in disguise that is trying to test you. Okay? So be very aware. Discernment, discernment, discernment. Listen to your voice. Ask yourself the questions. And that's the hardest part to do, is to come into ourselves and ask ourselves the questions about why. What is it? When I look at this person that I find attractive and whatever, what is it? Is it from a physical place? Is there a true emotional connection? Are you just lonely? Are you feeling horny? Are you just sad? Are you feeling just so isolated and detached that you just need to hold on, anchor into something, someone? really use your discernment, you guys. We are here to elevate ourselves, humanity. We are here to really just stop the progression of creating more karma for ourselves. Now, again, if there's still lessons to be learned, there's still lessons to be learned, and that's beautiful, and that's okay. Embrace it. But if you got all this stuff in your head, and you know the facts, and you know who you are, I'm going to remind you, I'm going to first of all applaud you, okay? Because you're there. Because I have been told, understand that this isolation, this choosing to be single and celibate with selectivity is not just bringing in our inner union, but it is truly bringing in our outer union. And this is one of the final stages where, and again, I don't know if it's the final, but I know it is one of the final stages before we actually come into full union, okay? Because we have to clear out everything we've had, all those experiences, all of it has to go before we can come into true sacred union, sacred sexuality with our divine counterparts. So if you guys have questions, comments, please leave them below. Reach out to me if you want to talk about this more. I would love to know your experiences and what you're dealing with and where you are at on this process. And if this 2017 timeline also resonates with you, or what timeline you are working on. Like, I really want us to like dig deeper into connecting with all of this stuff. So you guys, I am going to end this. I hope I made everything super clear and understand and where we're at and what we're dealing with. I think I did. I want to thank you for being here. I am always sending you so much love and light, gratitude and blessings. Always beautiful souls. Mwah. I love you, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.